Well, the Jackrabbit men were supposed to play their last non-conference game at Buffalo, New York this past Friday. Winter weather obviously stepped in and wiped that one out. And while it was disappointing not to get that game in, probably worked out better not to make that trip and get stranded at an airport trying to make their way home.
We have 15 games. That's a lot of games. I mean, we're getting ready to play IUPUI, who has 17. So that's plenty of games to know who you want to be and what you want to do. And I think the only fortunate thing for us was that Chad was borderline whether or not he could have played, and now he's going to be able to play against IUPUI, and so that was probably the one thing, is just getting him healthy. We wanted to play the game. We have 4 seniors that missed a game, and I don't want that to happen. But at the same point, we got to protect our guys in terms of how much we're out on the road. We felt like we were going to get stuck. We didn't want to play Sunday because of the travel and having to go to IUPUI. So it's just one of those unfortunate things, and we'll return the game next year.
All right, through 15, as you said, what have you found out so far? What's been good? What's been bad through these first 15?
The bad is we struggle to take care of the ball. We don't have guards that are going to break you down off the dribble. I feel like Braden has done a tremendous job this year. He's carried a lot of the load for us in terms of handling the basketball, and has taken a lot of pressure because we just don't have other guys that can really handle the pressure. And so we've had to change from perimeter-oriented team as we were last year to now a post-oriented team. We're much stronger inside. We have good size. We have a chance to be very physical, and so we've made that adjustment. I think we've done a good job of that. We're shooting a better field goal percentage now because we're going inside more.
All right, and a little more on Braden's position. I mean, he really had to make a switch in the role he plays from last year to this year.
Yeah, I mean, he played point guard in high school, but it's been 4 years since he's done that. And so he's done a really good job. I mean, I think he would prefer to play the 2 and be off the ball and not have to have that pressure, but it's just who we are right now. I think with some of the early injuries, when you look at Skylar Flatten, he could have been a guy who could have handled the basketball for us, but because of his injury, we had to redshirt him this year. It just makes us thinner, and you just go with it. I think the only other thing that I've been frustrated with, and I think the team is frustrated with, is we're just not shooting the ball from the perimeter like we thought we would this year.
And you've got really good percentage three-point shooters. It's just not going
really good, right now. And we've gotten great shots. It's not, I think some people say, well, Nate got people great shots. When you look at many of the shots we're missing, they're wide open threes, and but we're going to continue to encourage our guys to jump up and shoot those because we know they're good shooters, and we know there's a point where we could be a 40% three-point shooting team.
All right. What has Cody Larson brought? What's the best thing, the biggest thing that he's brought to the team?
Just a more physical presence inside. It's freed Jordan up to primarily just be a 4-man and sometimes a 3-man. We almost, I don't know if we have at this point played Jordan at the 5 at all this year, which I think is better for him. It's better for us defensively, and it's better for us offensively. So I think his physical presence has freed us up. We're better inside. We block more shots. We're harder to score around the rim on, and we just have a guy that does a better job of posting in there.
Is he a true 5? Is he comfortable at being the
Yeah,
center?
I think he's settled into that. I think coming out of high school, it's not necessarily what he wanted to be, and I don't know if Florida envisioned that, but for our level and what we do, I think he's settled into it pretty good. He knows that if he'll do a good job of posting in there, we're going to get him the ball. And so I think any player, if they know they're going to touch the ball, they don't care where they get to play.
I've seen and heard you talk a lot early on about toughness, and there's no room to be a nice guy when you're on the floor. Is it? You just got to be tough or you're going to get beat, aren't you?
Yeah, and particularly defensively, and we're not, we're not just an overly mean, tough team. I think that is one of our weaknesses, but it doesn't mean we can't develop more toughness. Like, I don't think we're going to be the toughest team in America, but we need to develop more toughness, particularly on the defensive end. It's just a mindset, commitment level to keeping the guy in front of you and not letting him score, and just being tougher and meaner. I don't know what else to say about it. And we continue to talk about it. Our team knows that is what's, if we're going to win a championship, that's how we're going to do it. It's not going to be because we're great offensively. It's going to be because we've rebounded basketball and we guard you. And I think when you look at the teams in the league that have won over the past years, they've all been good defensive teams.
Will we see you play more zone defense as the year goes on?
Probably not any more than we have, but it's more than I'm used to playing. And it's still not a lot, but at the same point, our zone is pretty good. One of the things we've switched to is zoning out of bounds plays underneath, and a team hasn't scored on us yet. with us doing that. And so, there are some advantages to being big, and it's tough to score over and get through that zone, and our guys have done a good job with it, so we'll continue to stick with it.
What's a concern when you do go zone? Can you get beat? Is it tough to rebound? What's the concern when you do play zone?
The most we played zone this year was at Minnesota, and we did give up a lot of offensive rebounds. But I still think you can rebound really well out of zone because your three big guys are near the basket all the time, and so I don't think that should be a problem. But it was in the game that we played the most zone. We didn't rebound well out of it. For me, it's giving up some open three-point shots, and so in our zone, what we're trying to do is not give up any threes. Okay, I think a lot of teams when teams go zone are trying to protect the inside. What I want to do is even protect the outside more.
Okay. Summer league play, you get into it now, kind of get into that rhythm. At IUPUI, they're just a mystery every year, aren't they, with as many new guys as they bring in every year?
Well, and some of theirs, the guys that are playing this year aren't new guys. They've been there. Childs was hurt last year. Was I thought 2 years ago was one of the best guards in the league, and he's getting 17 a game now, and he'll be one of the best guards this year. They had some kids sitting out, and so transfer that were there, and so they're used to it. They know their style of play. I think it's hard, to even compare records in league right now because we've all played different people. Some people played tough schedules, some people have played easy schedule, and so I don't even try to compare records at this point. I think once you get in the league playing, we've all played each other, then it's much easier to tell who the better teams are.
And how much during the week do you dedicate to scouting the other teams, and how much are you going to spend this week just on your stuff?
Well, we don't want to give them too much information. We want our guys to play and be free. We want their minds to be free and just play on instinct mostly, and not try to think about what the other team's trying to do, because that just slows you down.
All right, one last thing. The win against Belmont here at home just seemed like the total effort. Is that what you're looking for as far as toughness and effort, and was that game kind of a shining point?
It was. I think even defensively, Jake was a big part of that game. I thought Jake scored a lot more points than he normally does in that game, but I think what we saw from Jake in that game was who Jake can be. Now, when he's playing with 4 seniors and a 5th-year junior and Cody, he's kind of the forgotten guy sometimes. But I think that Jake really gave us kind of toughness, and that was really, he had played the Minnesota game, but that was almost sitting a month out, and so after the Minnesota game, he got a little more comfortable, and he really gave us the kind of toughness that we needed in that Belmont game to win.
All right, and everybody's just kind of waiting, and I think you think the same thing too. It's going to be a good team at the end of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, and that, for us now, we know that the most important thing is how you're playing in March. And obviously we won 5 out of our last 6, 7 out of our last 10. We did play a very tough schedule, and a lot of those were road games, but we're still trying to figure out who we were. I think we know now who we are, and we're just trying to execute. I mean, the conference games are all going to be close. It's going to come down to free throws and execution. Everybody knows what everybody else is running, who the best players are, which way they're going to drive, all of those things, and it just comes down to execution and toughness.
All right, the Jags will play at IUPUI on Thursday. The Jags, by the way, were picked by the media and the coaches to finish last in the league this year. We'll see what happens. And then at Fort Wayne on Saturday. Both of the games this weekend for the men are 6 o'clock starts.